We want to welcome everyone to tonight's web conference and call. If you're joining us for the first time, certainly we want to say thank you for coming and being with us. It's going to be a great event tonight. We have some great information to share with you on the urgent need for whole food nutrition. And we'll be getting started on that in just a couple of moments. I will say that every 2 weeks at this same time, we will be having these type of calls and events. So put it on your calendar. You're not going to want to miss it as we get going forward. So a lot of great information, a lot of helpful information for you, and we look forward to bringing that to you. So for right now, I'm joined with our team here with Dr. Robert Gibson. He's going to be coming forward in just a moment, and also the founder and owner of Resilient Living, Yuri LeBaron. So we have two great guys going to be sharing a lot of great information. So with that, Yuri, I guess I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. This is where for me this gets really fun as we start talking about the value and benefits and what our products can truly do and deliver for people. And I'm grateful to have Dr. Gibson here with us this evening, and his participation with these products, because he can certainly provide some significant in-depth detail as to the function and the value that nutrition plays in our bodies, and why it's so critical that we truly get these nutrients that are necessary for health. So kind of what we're going to look to do is today is, if Rob is ready to pop back up here, is we're just going to kind of open some discussion here and between us. So I'm going to start out with some questions for you, Dr. Gibson.
Sure, go ahead.
So we've had lots of conversations, so I figure we kind of just, lead in to that. It can be very beneficial and informative for our listeners and people participating with us this evening. And the first question is about nutrition in itself. And How does the role of nutrition play in terms of the ever-growing entourage of health challenges, whatever terminology as a doctor you're able to use that continues to grow, whether it's obesity and all the other health challenges? How do all these things relate to nutrition or the lack thereof?
Well, from the very most basic fundamental standpoint, we've got to look at nutrition as something that is not an option. This is something that is absolutely required. These are things that are essential for life. So when we're talking about nutrients, we're not talking about something that's a luxury. This is just simply if you want to maintain proper physiological function at any normal standpoint and keep your body disease-free and be happy and healthy, you have to have all of the nutrients that the body needs. And really the only controversy that comes into nutrition is when somebody's trying to make a buck off of you and they're selling something that isn't necessarily true. They're trying to convince you that something is greater than it really is. And so we can boil it down to just some simple stuff. Look at your body like a machine. And like any machine, you take parts out of the machine is going to break. And so we want to give the body what it absolutely has to have to function. And that's where the food that you eat is where you're going to get that. And the foods have to make up those essential components and nutrients. Otherwise, something is going to malfunction. Something's going to break down. And that's where we see the wide variety of diseases and aches and pains and all these problems that everybody suffers from almost always comes back to this lack of nutrition that they're not getting. And on top of that lack of nutrition, there's a lot of garbage that's added to our foods. We don't even really eat food anymore in our society. It's a food-like substance. It's just adulterated garbage chemicals that are added in that we're calling food, and it's really just a shame what we've done to ourselves, to our children, to our society, and at the very basic fundamental way we're destroying ourselves and killing ourselves one spoonful at a time. And so nutrition is everything. It's life.
So what you're saying is that if we were truly able to get the proper forms and amounts of nutrition that our bodies are designed to properly function off of, that we would see a significant less, throughout the, ourselves, the U.S., the world, that we would see significant less health challenges being experienced if people simply got proper, adequate nutrition.
Absolutely. I see nutrition is probably one of the single easiest ways that we could make significant changes to the entire world. Just getting the proper nutrition alone, you would see the majority of the health problems that people deal with on a day-to-day basis go away. The body is absolutely designed to heal itself. There's no magic drug that you take to regrow skin when you cut yourself on your hand. The body is designed to repair those cells and to heal. And if we only give it what it absolutely has to have to do that, it does that exact thing automatically without being told to. And that's true of everything. A lot of these diseases are simply because the body is breaking down, the immune system is unable to function, and we become more susceptible to contagious diseases. So even when we're talking about something from the outside that's attacking us, even then, simple nutrition makes all the difference. And we know that a lot of these issues are really very simply a nutritional deficiency problem. And we get that nutrition back in, we can fight off these infections, we can help fight off other diseases our body repairs from things like cancer. Obesity a lot of times is not just simply an issue of overeating. It's the way that these foods interact in the body and how they cause problems. Yeah, it's an amazing thing to watch people's lives turn around from just simple nutrition.
So from what you're saying, what I'm gathering is that, and I'm certainly 100% in line with this, which is why we have Resilient Living here. But in summary, what I'm gathering is from what you're saying is that simple, wholesome nutrition literally is the first line of defense for our bodies to be able to deal with the ongoing health challenges that we face as a people.
Absolutely. Not just the first line of defense, but really the only means, because there's no substitute for this type of whole foods nutrition in the body. There's no magic synthetic vitamin or synthetic drug that's going to take the place of what whole foods is doing for the body and has to do for the body. It has to come that way.
So as we look at that, because that's a huge part of what Resilient Living is about, is truly providing that ultimate form of nutrition that, as you said, it cannot be replicated, it can't be duplicated, it can't be faked when it comes to giving our body that level and quality of nutrients. So if you wouldn't mind, kind of share with us what are some of the key components and nutritives that come only from whole foods, and specifically the value difference in what there is in fresh, raw type whole foods versus other options that are being promoted out there.
That question comes a lot when I see patients, and they'll bring in, their nutritional supplements, and they might have like your 1 a day or your Centrum type vitamins. They'll come in and show those to me and say, okay, I'm trying to design a better diet. How can I do this? And sadly, a lot of those vitamins, especially like your Centrum 1 a day, not only are they made with cheap synthetic vitamins, but you can pop one of those pills and they'll have a coating. It'll go right through you like a little pebble, and you can still read 1 a day on the label once it comes out the other end. It's not doing anything for them. And even if it was to dissolve, these synthetic vitamins, your body can tell the difference. And we'll start with something like a vitamin A. Synthetic vitamin A is not only not working in your body like a natural beta-carotene vitamin A, but it becomes toxic at about 5,000 units. And it can cause birth defects above 8,000 units. Your body absolutely knows the difference. You get a good beta-carotene source vitamin A from like a carrot or other vegetables. There's a lot of different vegetables that have these carotenoids. And you could have hundreds of thousands of units in the body without being toxic. Your body can use it and function with it, and it has no problems assimilating it and using it the way it's supposed to with no toxicity, no birth defects. And that's just one of hundreds of different carotenoids that we find in all of these different fruits and vegetables out of just one vegetable.
Absolutely. You've probably heard, seen the studies as well as I have that, lycopene, which is one of those many carotenoid compounds, is only one of over 200 plus carotenoid compounds that's in a tomato alone.
Oh, yeah. And so even when you have an extract like that where they've extracted out the lycopene, nothing wrong with lycopene. It's a great carotenoid. But why would you take just one when you could get a concentrated tomato juice powdered down, and now you have hundreds of carotenoids along with other minerals and other essential enzymes that allow you to use those carotenoids properly? The level of value to the body is almost too big to calculate. There's so much value that comes from that we really can't even grasp when you're comparing it just side by side with an extract versus the whole food product.
And there was a key thing you just mentioned there, that is, you talked about part of what assisted in the function of the entourage variety there of carotenoids existing, enzymes.
Yeah.
So as we look at the question of what is it that comes from fresh, raw, organic fruits and vegetables that delivers nutrition in a way to the body that nothing else can replicate, would it be safe to say that enzymes are one of those key components that come naturally in a manner to truly assist with absorption and utilization in fresh, raw, whole foods that simply is not coming within other products and other forms that attempt to fake or replicate that?
Oh, absolutely. Enzymes, if you're not familiar with those, some of the people out there, these are small biological machines that have a lot of times a single purpose to allow us to use a certain mineral or a certain vitamin or certain phytochemical that's in that plant. And without that enzyme to unlock it or to activate it, sometimes those vitamins are useless to us. But when you eat the plant as it was supposed to, with all of its properties there, and you're getting that in, a concentrate where you're getting a lot of it at once, yeah, those enzymes are critical in allowing us to utilize these nutrients.
And would you say the value is similar for natural microorganisms that are found proliferating in fresh, raw, whole foods, that we're seeing more and more value and benefit in terminating of specific strains identified as probiotics and the roles that those play within the absorption and the health of the human system?
Yeah, the key to gut health, we look at all these different bacteria that live in our gut, and when you count the actual number that live inside us, there's more of them than there are human cells making up our body. And this is a symbiotic relationship. We live with these bacteria, and when we get these healthy bacteria from the foods we're eating, and then they populate the gut, they help digest our food. They take some of these chemicals that the body breaks down, and they recombine them into useful nutrients for us. They put it in ways that we just simply couldn't do for ourselves. They're creating new combinations, new molecules specifically for us that benefit us and benefit health. They're our first line of defense. I mean, it's critical that we keep that healthy microbiome in the gut if we want to be healthy ourselves.
Okay, so with what we've been discussing, we've been identifying that our body, to truly get the value and benefit we're talking about of these nutrients as an essential first line of defense to mitigate the health challenges, we're talking about getting whole foods that contain a huge array, literally hundreds and thousands of different phytonutrients, whether it's carotenoid compounds or polyphenols or even just basic vitamins and minerals that are in the form the body recognizes. We're also identifying how essential it is for the benefit of those to have enzymes and microorganisms, things that are all fully present in fresh, raw, organic produce. But now if we look at some of the alternatives out there, as we mentioned, vitamins, the isolated vitamins like the Centrums or the One A Day. I mean, there's even others out there that are much more costly and will expand on that. They'll throw in some herbal extracts. They'll throw in other things that are still very isolated and focused ingredients. How effective are those going to be without that array of synergistic compounds in the whole foods, or the enzymes, or those microorganisms that are naturally present in fruits and vegetables?
Well, when you're looking on the extreme cheap end of things like those, the One-A-Days and that, not only is it not going to benefit you, it can actually be harmful, because you get a lot of these synthetic vitamins minus a lot of the other beneficial enzymes and probiotics, and then they're nothing but toxic. They don't even provide you really any significant legitimate benefit on that extreme cheap end. When we start getting into some of the better quality, where they're maybe using a little bit better quality sources from the vitamins, you're going to get some benefit, but again, you really can't compare one single nutrient to when you have hundreds of different forms of that same phytochemical. Vitamin C is another example that we look at, where when you see the cheap stuff from the store, it's a cheap ascorbic acid, but vitamin C found in nature, like what you might find in a beet, has many different components to the molecule. It's not just ascorbic acid. And a beet can make a different form of vitamin C for every mineral that's present there, a different mineral ascorbate. And so you can have dozens of different forms of vitamin C in each individual vegetable, not just one cheap ascorbic acid that's made out of sulfuric acid and corn syrup, a synthetic vitamin C. You really can't compare. Not even sure what you would compare it to. It's like having a light bulb but no electricity. It's what good is the light bulb if your body can't use, it can't use the vitamin. It needs has to have those other components. I can't even say it enough. It's required. It's mandatory.
Absolutely. It's so essential that, and I've known this for years, and I've had other doctors, illustrate this point as well, that when we take those type of forms of isolated vitamins and compounds into our system, our bodies are doing everything it can to utilize those. And in the effort to do so, it will oftentimes actually rob from within. And in the process of robbing from within to utilize that, it's doing just that. It's depleting nutrients in other areas of the bodies that then can create further health challenges and deficiencies because of that. And that's where I see they start becoming fragmented. They start becoming harmful. They start creating further imbalances in our bodies because they're not those proper compounds that are effectively tied to create the absorption of those minerals that are with the vitamin C. Let alone, where's the hundreds of other combining nutrients? Where's the enzymes? Where's the probiotics to increase the effectiveness and the deliverable valuable and results to the human system?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing that vitamin C does. When they put that cheap ascorbic acid, it needs calcium and other minerals just to function. So it'll leach calcium, from the body, and you end up depleting the body of some of your calcium just to get the cheap synthetic vitamin C to function now. So yeah, it really does. It causes that imbalance like you talk about.
So again, it tells us that is just another example that we're discussing, that there is simply no substitution. There's no replication. There's no faking the deliverable value and benefit that's essential to get from fresh, raw, whole foods.
Absolutely.
So knowing that, and knowing that how critical and essential that is to the health of our systems, and knowing how much better we feel when we're healthy and able to be active and youthful and alive, we know that those type of nutrients in those vitamin mineral supplements unfortunately don't begin to deliver what it is that we're truly looking for. Yeah. Now as we turn and look at other options out there as well, before we get into a little more detail of what it is that we're providing, as we look at other things that are touted as whole food products or superfoods, or the hot super juices. As we look at these juices and other products out there, they're certainly providing maybe more balance as to comparing to those isolated vitamins and minerals. But what is lacking? What is missing? And how effective and functional is it going to be if it's missing those critical enzymes and microorganisms, and even some of the nutrients that unfortunately get processed out with pasteurization and hot fill of these juices?
Well, yeah, again, you're definitely coming up in quality a lot when you're talking about any product that's using whole foods as their base versus a synthetic. And so I really do have to applaud a lot of those companies that are at least making the effort to supply a whole foods product versus just the cheap synthetics. And they're definitely going to get much more benefit out of any of those than you would the synthetic vitamins. But again, either it's complete or it's not. And so when we start talking about what it's actually giving the body, whatever's missing from that product, for example, if it's a liquid, usually they've got to pasteurize that in a way that is going to kill those enzymes and deactivate them. And so now your body has to do that processing for itself. Whatever that enzyme was going to do, the body now has to do, or it can't use it. Because the body has to either be able to assimilate it, and use it. And if it doesn't have those enzymes naturally occurring, then maybe it can't use that nutrient, or it doesn't get full use out of it.
That makes perfect sense, because there's so much missing, not only microorganisms and enzymes, but those type of processes deplete the basic vitamins and phytonutrients and things that were in there within the natural fruit or vegetable or superfood before it ran through the processing. So and this is where leads into looking at what it is that resilient living is about, what it is that we're providing to truly allow people to experience the results of getting the level and quality of nutrition that we're talking about. Share with us a little bit from your experience, as a background as a medical doctor, as a nutritionist, and as a chiropractor, what it is that you see within, particularly Premium Feast and certainly, other resilient whole food products, what you see within there that delivers the level and quality of nutrition that we're talking about that's so critical and essential to the health that we all want to experience.
I mean, having used nutrition as a major part of my practice and treatment protocols for patients for a long, long time, it was assumed that you always try to get the very best diet in there that you can, and then you use these supplements to make up where people are missing. And it was also assumed that no matter what you did, there was always a compromise with the products out there. Even when you found really good products, there was something that was less than perfect. Ideally, you'd still get all your stuff from these perfect organic foods, and you do that. It just wasn't realistic for people. And then you get these whole food supplements, and maybe had to use a high heat to dry the product, to powder it, or it was dried slowly over a long time, and you get oxidation of the nutrients over a long time. There was some part of the processing where you're losing some of that value. Still a good product maybe, but you were losing something and you had to compromise. So when I first found Resilient, that was one of the first things that kind of got me excited. And it's been a long time since a nutritional product's excited me. I thought I had kind of seen it all. And when I saw a company that could figure out a processing where they weren't raising it to that high heat, so it was still raw, you're still maintaining all of those nutrients from that perspective. They were doing it quickly enough so that you're not oxidatively losing nutrients. So you're maintaining all the probiotics, all the live enzymes, all these vitamins. It was too good to be true at first, is what I thought. I thought that's I was a little skeptical. That's kind of me by nature. And so I had to come meet you and do some of those investigations at first. But yeah, once I saw it was legitimate and it was real, it's fantastic. It's kind of the holy grail of nutritional supplements, that you can get that kind of concentration of whole foods into a product without compromising on any of those other processing features and losing some of that nutrient value. It's phenomenal.
And for those that are watching and listening that may not know what it is we're talking about, with Resilient Living products, we utilize a very proprietary drying process we call phytolive dehydration. This proprietary process allows us to literally bring in fresh produce, fruits, vegetables, grasses, whatever it is, grind it, juice it, and dry this juice or even the whole puree milled up to a powder. And we're drying this in literally a couple of minutes, and we're keeping the product temperature at or below 106 degrees Fahrenheit. So this allows us to preserve the highest level of nutritional integrity, the natural enzymes, natural microorganisms that delivers and maintains the level of nutrients that is critically found in the fresh fruits and vegetables. And then in addition to that, we're utilizing additional very specific ingredients. As Dr. Gibson was sharing about the beta carotene, we're bringing in like Dinellia salina that is very high rich within the natural carotenoid complexes, so it delivers a significant level of beta carotene per serving. And then we're using, organic acerola and amla for vitamin C, and we've got ingredients in there with the different annatto leaf, annatto seeds, and stuff that provides additional vitamin E, beta carotene, other ingredients that are very highly active in these ingredients, and combining them with the array that we do, so we have a wide variety of rich, nutrient dense ingredients to deliver a level of nutrients that's fully complex with the natural enzymes and microorganisms to deliver the nutrition that literally is second only to getting the same wide variety of foods, and bringing those in and processing them and getting those consumed into your body multiple times a day. So if you were able to physically do that, then you may be able to get a little more results and nutrient value than what you get out of Premium Feast. And that's the beauty of this is how available are a lot of these fruits and vegetables and ingredients we're talking about in the forms that people can utilize, and will they spend the time? And this is where Premium Feast truly can deliver a level of nutrition and a value way beyond what people are getting, because the ability to get and consume these on a regular daily basis is pretty much next to impossible. But because of our processing, because of the ingredients and the formulation, we're able to deliver the results and the value in the product that Dr. Gibson is talking about.
That brought up the idea too that for those of you who don't live on your own organic farm and they can't raise all these things, even if you did, even if you lived in, like I have a garden, I have my own chickens, things like that as a hobby. I can't grow a lot of the superfoods that you have in the feast where I live. I don't know of too many people that live in a perfect environment to grow every type of food that you have in there. It would be, like you say, next to impossible. And even if you could, getting in the volume of those concentrated nutrients would be very difficult in an average diet. We're not talking about just eating a Caesar salad here. We're talking about getting a giant bowl full of fruits and veggies concentrated down, into a serving. That's a phenomenal process for someone who has trouble getting nutrition in anyway. What a lot of patients do, they just have trouble. They know they need to eat better. They want to eat better. How do they do it? And this provides a great solution for them.
Absolutely. Because we as we've discussed here, we've identified how critical, how essential, and how beneficial it is for our bodies to get the quality, the level, and the source of nutrients that truly works inside of our bodies. And now we've identified, how valuable and how beneficial Premium Feast and other resilient whole food products can be in delivering that, and truly providing an option for people to get and experience that is simply hard or unavailable for them to get on a regular daily basis. So as we've now said, hey, here's what it is. If you would share a little bit as a person looks to start taking Premium Feast and other resilient live, raw, organic whole food products here, share some of the results that some of your patients are getting and what they can expect to start experiencing as they start ingesting this level of nutrition into their system.
The results are as amazing and as varied as there are people that come in, and that's the truly cool thing for me is that it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the basic nutritional concept for people. We don't have to sit there and go, oh, you need a little bit of B6 or a little bit of B12. We want to supply the body with everything they need. So regardless of what condition someone starts with, the first place that everybody has to start is getting all of these nutrients in. And so it's just a real simple way to get it in. And as you get in this nutrition, your cells start to rev up. They start to function like they're supposed to because you're feeding them. You're giving them exactly what they need to function. As those cells are functioning, you're going to notice more energy. You're going to notice things like your brain function is going to start better. I mean, with some of the specifics I've had a lot of people that it becomes easier to digest their other food. They have digestive issues and stomach issues. They start getting in the feast and their They get rid of this digestive pain that they had. One woman has had it for 31 years. She gets the feast in. She doesn't have the pain with eating anymore. That was from the very first time she used it. Once she had in a good full month of using it, 80% of this 3 decades long problem were gone. And she continues to use the feast because it makes her feel better. People, as your body starts to feel better and function better, things like sleep will improve in people because they don't have a lot of these other problems that are causing stress and anxiety and pain that keeps them awake at night. So they start to sleep better. A woman was having trouble breastfeeding her baby. She started producing more milk when she got the feast in. I mean, it really, I could go on and on. I mean, there's been so many really neat results in just a short amount of time that I love it. It makes me look good.
And what I hear you saying is what my experience has been with the number of people sharing the results that it's providing. And what you're saying is that it really doesn't matter what their health challenge is. As they start taking the premium feast, they start seeing the results and benefits and improvements with whatever their health challenge is, for me, that's the simple beauty and the reward of getting this level and quality of nutrition that again is so essential in the difference that it can make in every person's life, and the difference that it can make with where health as a people is going. It's hugely significant.
Yeah. And everybody, I believe everybody intuitively knows this. They know that when they eat garbage, they feel like garbage. They know that when they eat better and they get these whole foods in, they're going to feel better. Let alone if they have these other diseases that just desperately need this nutrition to start healing and feeling better. And it does. It works on whatever ails you. You've got to start with basic nutrition and get that covered first. Yes, some things need more to be dealt with, but you got to start here no matter what it is. Nothing works unless your cells are working.
And it's certainly not going to work if we're not getting it into our systems.
Yeah, it doesn't work on the shelf nearly as good. I can set bottles there. I got to get it in me for it to work.
So we challenge anyone and everyone to get a jar of Premium Feast if you haven't. Take that jar and notice the difference that it makes for you. Know again that the value of nutrition is critical. It's critical for us to have the nutritional tools to support our body's natural function, to deal with the health challenges, and give us and support us with that level of energy, that health, that vitality, that youthfulness that we all want to be experiencing every single day, so that we can truly enjoy life the way it was meant to be. So at this point, Dr. Gibson, it's an honor, it's a privilege to work with you. It's fun to be able to share information that can truly give people information to make the choices to get this level of nutrition and start experiencing that shift to health and vitality. So
that's my pleasure. I love this stuff. This is what I live for.
So this is where I thank you, and this kind of concludes our portion here. We'll turn it back over to Joe to add some final comments. Joe, if you're ready.
Well, I've enjoyed the program myself. Thank you guys for sharing. It's always wonderful to hear because I know it's a passion for both of you, and I hear it. I've had the pleasure of being able to put up a lot of videos that you guys have shared. So I'm sure folks got a lot out of that. I wanted to remind folks that we will have this as recording in our knowledge base. So if you missed any portion of this, you can go into the knowledge base and you'll have that. It'll take a couple of days for it to get up, but certainly check in the knowledge base on the site. And with that, thank you very much. And Yuri, again, thank you. And Dr. Gibson, thank you. And all of those who have attended tonight, we're certainly pleased that you have joined with us for this evening.